Well, they put so much emphasis these days on the drawdown of the LME and COMEX, and legitimately so, right? LME has less silver than at any time since they started keeping records. This is a 140-year-old exchange. You got the COMEX down to 33 million ounces, and to put that in context, India imported 300 million ounces last year of silver. So when you talk about the entire COMEX having 300 million, of which 33 of it is registered or available for delivery, it lets you know just how thin the margins or the availability of product really is. So one of the things that they've been doing, they being the banks, the authorized participants, the commercial banks and the large hedge funds that have baskets worth of silver in SLV, is what's called share redemption. And it's a very private way, a very opaque way of taking deliveries. I was reading Ed Steer this morning, and I'll quote what he says. There was another monster withdrawal from SLV, the second one in as many days, as the AP, authorized participant, removed 4,415,443 troy ounces of silver, more than 7 truckloads. That's on top of the 3.08 million ounces, or 5 truckloads that were taken out on Tuesday. In 2 days, an authorized participant took off somewhere in the neighborhood of 7.5 million ounces of silver. And I think it's very, very illuminating. In other words, price and rhetoric are the tools of misdirection that allow these authorized participants, or let's call them the people with the biggest pocketbooks closest to the information. They're draining COMEX, they're draining LME, they're draining SLV. They're finding ways to gather the real thing, while the price, the suppressed price, enables them to do so in the cover of darkness without being ratted out, without being crowded out of their trade, because all of us see the immense value in silver. And it's because of the price suppression. All of the work that you've done, that Chris Marcus, that the Wall Street Silver, that the Silvers, all the people who
Ted Butler.
Ted Butler, God bless Ted Butler, all the people, David Morgan, all of them. We all see that, but unfortunately, the suppressed price doesn't allow that to permeate out into the mainstream. And this is exactly what allows them, under the cover of price suppression, to drain 7.5 million ounces of silver, and no one talks about it. But guys like you and me and Ed Steer and Ted Butler, and it is, I think, very, very telling as to the bottom line is the big money always front runs what's coming next. And you can see this is a form of front running to the nth degree, because if price was an indication of value, then why the hell would someone take this off of SLV and pull it away from wherever it's being held? And I think it's important to note that when you take this metal out of wherever it's being held, this is a big deal, because at least in the case of the COMEX, it loses all liquidity from an industrial standpoint when it leaves the COMEX ecosystem. So where is this going? Who's taking it? Where are they moving it to? I don't know. It seems like everything's moving eastward. That I do believe.